What's up, YouTube? I'm Mike, and today I'm back talking about Cody Copa again. My reaction video that I shot went live this morning because it took about 20 hours for YouTube to approve the content. During that period of time, I did more research on this young man, and my wife kind of got excited about it this morning when he responded to the video and said, "Hey, that's me." So she started looking through his comment section on various social media, primarily on his Instagram, and then some of the other stuff that's been written about him. There's been a number of people in the bodybuilding community who've made response videos to either the article or the posts on Instagram. And as I predicted, most people are not being as liberally minded with his use of performance-enhancing drugs as I am. Again, I have to clarify, I am not glorifying or condoning anyone break any law, but I am going to talk in this video about a glaring contradiction that seems to be taking place in our society right now. And it seems that Cody Copa might be the answer, or maybe not the answer, but he might be the counterpoint to a number of points that are being made in American society today. So the first thing I'm going to talk about, when you look through the comments section on this kid's progress videos and updates, it's pretty much 100. It's not 100%, but there's a lot of negativity. There's an extreme amount of negativity. Most people are saying that he's jeopardizing his health. This is a terrible decision. Just all the ways that manipulating hormones at this age is a bad idea, which I just can't help but wonder, does nobody notice the fucking elephant in the room while you're making these comments? We are living in a time period where our world has gone so insane that in some states it's considered child abuse to deny a minor child access to gender-affirming care, which is the administration of sex hormones to minors. This is the world we're living in right now. So on the one hand, you've got people who are saying that because this 14 or 17, there seems to be some discrepancy about his age. Cody, man, in the comments, settle the debate for us. How old are you, brother? Whatever his age, there seems to be a disconnect between this young man of whatever age choosing to use sex hormones, which is what androgens are. They are the body's sex hormones, to give himself the physique that he feels comfortable with. And this is the crap that they keep rattling off on the other side, is that we have to give gender-affirming care to people who are trying to transition so that they can become the people they feel like they are inside, so they can become the people they feel like they were meant to be. I have made this point on my YouTube channel many times. The way I look right now is the way I feel like I was supposed to look. I wish I had it in here with me. My mom, I told you, is a hoarder, and she actually, we were helping her clean out her storage building, and she had my He-Man character from when I was a kid. I'm gonna make a video with this character to show you, He-Man was the guy I thought I was supposed. Oh, look, my wife, right, Johnny on the spot. Check it out. This is from my childhood. This is He-Man from, God knows, in the 1980s somewhere or another. He's got a little piece on his chest where you can rotate it. It's like you can rotate it, and get my camera to focus on him. There we go. And then if he takes damage to the chest, boom, now he's got a busted chest plate. That's what we had back in the day. I spent my entire life feeling like I was supposed to look like He-Man or Arnold Schwarzenegger in the Terminator. And why do you have the right to say that I don't have a right, or that Cody Copa doesn't have a right to use androgens so that he can feel comfortable in his skin, so that I can feel comfortable in my skin, but people who are trying to transgender into a sex that they were not born in, If they are denied that right, it's considered child abuse in many states in this country. There is a massive disconnect going on here between, well, what we have is a situation of total insanity. There is no way that anyone can logically or reasonably argue in a medical context that it is safer to give puberty blockers to children and then crash their normal hormone levels and administer cross-sex hormones for them. There is no way you can conscientiously make the argument that that is healthier for that child than what Cody Copa has chosen to do for what could be a very short period of time. That's the other thing. One of these two things is permanent and the other is not. Cody, I think I found one of his videos where he admitted to using 100 milligrams of trenbolone. This is not a large amount. This is what I run year round. I run 100 milligrams of trenbolone year round without ceasing. That is a very reasonable amount. Now, is it reasonable to a 14-year-old? I don't know. I'm not making that claim. I'm not saying that it is. But if Cody tomorrow says, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. I've decided I want to go in a different direction. I don't like my blood pressure readings. I don't like the acne it's causing. I don't like what it's doing to my personality. He can choose at any time to stop administering these hormones and go on to live a perfectly normal functioning life. Once you start administering puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones to minor children, you are irreparably fucking them up. You are irreparably changing the way their bodies are capable of functioning and developing, and this will have lifelong consequences that far exceed the possibility of this young man possibly maybe having to be on TRT if he continues what he's doing. So to me, there is absolutely no argument here. If you are going to defend the trans movement, you have no choice but to equally defend a young man's right to build the body that he feels comfortable in using the same exact types of hormones and drugs that are used on the other side of the fence. And speaking of drugs, because everybody wants to sit here and talk about how dangerous this is, I happened to be doing some research last night into anabolic steroids in general, because there's a female in my audience that I think might have gotten a hold of something that is not what I think she got D-ball instead of Anavar. And so I was looking through the list of anabolic steroids, trying to come up with all of the possible things that she might have accidentally gotten a hold of that would cause the particular side effects she's having that, you know, that other than D-ball. And I came across this little interesting thing. If you just go to Wikipedia, if you look up anabolic steroid on Wikipedia and you come down quite a ways on the page, under adverse effects, there's a chart that's labeled Table from the 2010 ISCD study ranking various drugs based on statements by drug harm experts. Anabolic steroids was found to be the 15th overall most dangerous drug. Okay, but let's put this into perspective. So if you click on the chart, it lists the danger rating of each drug, and then it breaks down how much damage this drug does to others compared to how much it does to the user themselves. The maximum possible rating a drug can receive is 100 on this scale. Number one on the list, can anybody guess? Anybody? Alcohol. Alcohol, the number one most dangerous drug on the entire list of recreational or otherwise, these are basically recreational / medicinal drugs. Alcohol is number one on the list as causing the most harm. So if you take Cody Copa, for example, if he is committed to his bodybuilding endeavors, he's probably not going to spend a lot of time drinking alcohol. One of the number one things that teenagers get themselves exposed to at very early ages is alcohol. It's probably the first drug that most kids will use in life. I've always said that alcohol is the true gateway drug. Most kids are going to have their first sip of some type of alcoholic beverage long before they're going to touch any other illicit substance. And alcohol is on the list as being the most dangerous with a rating of about 73 or so. Interestingly, on the harm to others versus users, alcohol causes more harm to others than it does to the users themselves. This is how dangerous this drug is. We're talking about a drug that one person takes, and then it has a disproportionately high level of causing danger to somebody else. This, if any drug deserves to be scheduled, this is the one that deserves it. Of course, they can't schedule it because any idiot can make it in their fucking bathroom or their kitchen in 2 weeks' time, which is the only reason that alcohol is legal. Alcohol is absolutely not legal because it's safe. It's legal because there's zero chance they could ever control it. It is massively, massively easy to produce. Number 2 on the list is heroin, with a rating of about 55. So you've got 73 rating for alcohol. Heroin drops all the way down to a 55, with it being more dangerous to the user than to others. In close third becomes crack cocaine, with again more harm to users than to others. In fourth place, dropping all the way down to a 34 on the scale of 0 to 100 harm rating, is methamphetamine, followed by cocaine at about a 28, tobacco at about a 25, amphetamines, which are regularly prescribed to kids. This is what I said in my previous video. Kids Cody's age are getting prescribed all kinds of amphetamines every day to treat ADHD and any number of other probably bullshit conditions. So we've got amphetamines coming in next, followed by cannabis. Weed. We are legalizing marijuana all over the country, and cannabis has a danger rating of 20 on this scale. It's about half as dangerous to others as it is to the user. Interestingly enough, one of the lowest dangers to others versus users on this scale is methamphetamine. So for all these people who say that tweakers are out robbing people and thieving and stealing and breaking in, the data doesn't actually reflect that. Meth has one of the lowest ratings for harm to others. Well, it is the lowest rating for harm to others relative to the harm it does to the user. Coming down the list below cannabis is GHB, followed by benzodiazepines, followed by ketamine, methadone, mephedrone, butane, and finally we get to anabolic steroids with a rating of 9 on the danger scale. So here's how stupid all of you people sound when you're coming after this kid, telling him all the dangerous, terrible, horrible things he's doing to his body by using anabolic steroids, while knowing that the odds are substantially higher that he would be out partying, drinking, doing keg stands, with all the little drinking games, the ping pong drinking game, all the stupid drink. Kids consume massive quantities of alcohol. Young teens and early 20s abuse alcohol to an extraordinary degree, and this is decidedly something that you will not find happening very frequently amongst steroid users. Alcohol basically stops protein synthesis in its tracks. If you are a steroid user and you're going out and drinking on the weekends, you are an idiot. You are absolutely torpedoing your gains. You should not do that. If you are trying to build the best physique that you can possibly build, you should have zero alcohol at all. It absolutely shuts down protein synthesis. So all of these other drugs listed below alcohol are all things that minors regularly come into contact with, regularly abuse, or regularly party with, and they are all ranked as being more dangerous not only to themselves but to the people around them. Steroids is almost at the bottom of the list. The lowest ranked drug on this list is mushrooms, which are still illegal, with a harm rating of about 7. So you've got anabolic steroids at 9, mushrooms is about 6. In between anabolic steroids, you have ecstasy, something I can't even pronounce, QAT, Q-A-T, the hell is that? I've never heard of that. LSD, buprenorphine, and then mushrooms. So effectively what we're saying is that I'm honestly shocked at how safe ecstasy is. I can't believe that, honestly. I feel like crap after using ecstasy the next day following a little MDMA experience. Although that's probably because of the serotonin action of the You know what? That's another video. Anyway, the point that I wanted to sit down here and make on this video, because this is a hot topic right now. Everybody's talking about this young man, and I think he is absolutely getting unfairly hated on. And I just wanted to draw out some points that I think people are not paying attention to right now. Basically, what he is doing is effectively the least dangerous thing that a young adult could do of the things they are likely to do. So sure, in a perfect world, obviously, to some degree, I mean, I'm not saying I would, but a lot of parents would rather their children, get to 18, never have a drink of alcohol, never burn one, never have any exposure to illicit substances. I happen to not be one of those parents. I happen to believe that mind-expanding substances have tremendous value in our society. They have tremendous value in a spiritual context, in a self-discovery context. But I am very acutely aware of the dangers that come with ever trying to experiment with anything, because most of these substances are very highly addictive. This is not the case with anabolic steroids. Now wait, I'm not saying they don't have addictive properties. They do. I definitely think that I am probably addicted to the feelings and all of the things that come with steroid use. But they are not classically addictive in the way something like cocaine or amphetamines and even alcohol are. So stepping out of the delusional perfect world where this child never experiments with any illicit substance, the substances that Cody has chosen to use are effectively the least dangerous thing he could be doing, especially if he sticks to only using anabolic steroids and he stays on top of his blood work. He manages his blood pressure. He makes sure his estrogen stays in line. He doesn't abuse. He doesn't use crazy high doses. He doesn't push his body to unnecessary extremes. Effectively, what he is doing is the lesser of all evils. And yet, to listen to the people in the comments and in society talk about it, they are just demonizing this kid like he's absolutely destroying his body. Meanwhile, their kid's probably doing a keg stand right now. It's total hypocrisy that we have taking place in our society. This trans movement is insane. Giving kids puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones has got to be absolutely, emphatically the single stupidest, most horribly damaging thing that we could do to a child's body, imaginable. But if that's the world we're going to live in, and that is the world that we are currently living in until politicians step up and stop this, then nobody has a right to stand in judgment of this young man and the decisions that he has made for himself. They are no better, certainly not worse, than the vast majority of other decisions he could have been making. So again, I'm not attempting to glorify, celebrate, or endorse anybody breaking the law or harming themselves in any way. I am purely giving my opinion on what I think is a glaring contradiction and a disgusting hypocrisy that is taking place in our society at large. Obviously, if you're one of these people who is absolutely against everything on the trans side and you're a purist and you want no drugs and no nothing, then obviously you are exempt from this hypocrisy statement. But you're not exempt from being an idiot. And the reality is that very, 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 very few children succeed going through their high school years without exposing themselves to some type of illicit substance, any one of which could kill them the first time they try it. And this is just not a danger presented by anabolic steroids, and people in our world at large needs to pull their head out. These drugs need to be rescheduled. If we are going to sit here and say that it is safe for people to regularly use and abuse cannabis, but it's not okay to play with the hormones that our bodies naturally produce, that is a level of insanity that I cannot even cope with. And it's something that I hope some politician will stand up and defend. Because Cody has the opportunity to be an example of, the opposing side in what has become a very crazy battle. This trans situation is out of control. And if we're going to continue to allow that, then in my estimation, we must allow what Cody has chosen to do with his body. That's just my take. I'm sure I will get abused for it as usual. But as usual, I don't really give a shit what anybody else thinks. I'm going to do what I want to do. Clearly, he's going to do what he's going to do, and I wish him nothing but the best of luck going forward. As always, thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you on the next one.